And welcome back to the Robert and Crew Show. Tonight we have a pretty special show for you because it's our first show officially on the Robert and Crew YouTube page. So, how's it going, Crew? How's it been?
Pretty, it's been pretty good. I'm loving my new job. I'm enjoying life. How about you,
Yeah, you
Robert?
got a new job. I've been doing all right. We've been doing this podcast, trying to have fun with it and learn stuff, and it's been pretty fun lately. Also, work. I'm just constantly working.
Right.
How's so tonight we were going to talk about what was it? You had a whole thing you wanted to do tonight.
Creepy pastas.
So this entire episode is going to be of a creepy pastas. And can you explain to the viewers what a creepy pasta is for the ones who don't know?
So, creepy pasta is a bunch of different stories that are so outrageous, terrifying, but intriguing at the same time.
And what are some examples of creepy pastas that people may know?
The Slender Man, the Rake, uh, Jeff the Killer, Jane the Killer, Laughing Jack, Laughing Jill. There's so many that I can name. Hell, even Smiley Dog.
That's kind of like that's there. So creepy pastas are basically like horror memes.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So what is your favorite creepy pasta then?
I have a few, but my all-time favorite has been Jeff the Killer.
And what was
And
that story about? Or who
so,
or who is Jeff the Killer? I've never heard of
okay,
that one before.
so he's a popular internet urban legend and creepypasta character. The story of Jeff the Killer originated on the internet forum 4chan in 2011. The legend tells the
Oh,
story of a
started in 4
teen. Yeah. The legend tells of a teenager named Jeff who becomes a serial killer after brutal attacks leave him disfigured and mentally unstable. The story is often accompanied by a disturbing image of Jeff's supposed appearance, featuring a pale, gaunt face with I don't know how to say that word. It starts with a G. Gross
Well,
tooth.
what did he look like?
Okay,
Oh,
so
grotesque.
basically he
Grotesque.
has
The word.
he kind of looks like Joker. He has no eyelids. He has slits right here, to where you
Right.
can see the inside of his mouth, and he's smiling all the time. And his favorite
When was
catchphrase to use is "Go to sleep."
when was the first time you saw this creepy pasta?
2015.
Oh, so it's kind of old.
Hmm. He's been in multiple different adaptations, including fan art, fiction. However, like Slenderman, Jeff the Killer is a work of fiction and not based on real events or individuals.
Right. So it's basically a story. It's made up. It's for entertainment.
Right.
It's kind of like
And
it's kind of like Smiley Dog.
right. So he
Hmm.
has gone toe to toe with Slenderman in one of his stories. He made a girl whose name was Jane go crazy like him, and she became Jane the Killer. Really
I haven't heard of
interesting.
Yeah, I haven't heard of Jane the Killer either. But I have heard of Slenderman. I think everybody's heard of Slenderman. Um what's another one I could probably think of? I don't know. I don't know too many of them. I know the cursed photos. So like Smiley Dog and some of the other ones. Some of the ones that are like really creepy looking, and you're like, where did that picture get made? Is it fake? Is it really a dog smiling? It can't be. That is so freaking weird.
And the cool thing about creepypastas that a lot of people don't know, that they're fan made by a lot of people. Like these are stories in their own adaptation made from many different people to add on to the other creepypasta stories. So we can get different variations, like, for instance, Laughing Jack. Now we got his counterpart, Laughing Jill, who's been added to the story. Um, like I said a little bit ago, Jeff the Killer went toe to toe in a fight with Slenderman. Like,
How'd that work out for him? For Jeff?
um, 50-50, I'd say.
Was it so it was like an even fight?
Yeah. But
Do
thing
you
is,
remember? Do you remember like a year or two ago there were, or it didn't happen a year or two ago, but I remember hearing the story for the first time like a year or two ago. But the two girls that, like, I don't know if it's a real story or not. I think it is a real story, but they like murdered their friend to like to Slenderman. They like gave her as a sacrifice.
yep, they called
That
themselves
blew my mind.
pro. They called themselves proxies to Slenderman. Uh,
So is that a real
children.
story, or is
Yes, it's a real
part of
story.
the so it's
It's
not a
very
part of the fan
right.
fiction stuff? It's
Right.
actually real?
Yeah, it
Oh
was
my
put
god,
on the
people
news
are
a
crazy.
long time ago, and I can't remember when exactly what date it was, but these two girls took their friend to the woods. Uh, I don't remember exactly the whole story. I think they were saying we're going to play a game, and then they murdered her in the woods.
Yeah,
Very,
that's
very
insane.
sad.
So
They went to trial. Both kids, I believe, got tried and didn't go in their favor either.
right. So they actually went to trial?
Mhm.
Oh my god, okay. Wait, I think I found it. Okay, on May 31st, 2014, in Waukesha, Wisconsin, United States, two 12-year-old girls, Anacia Weir and Morgan Geyser, lured their friend Peyton Lutner into the wooded area of a local park and stabbed her 19 times to appease the fictional character Slenderman. Wheeler and Geyser were both found not guilty by mental disease or defect and were committed to mental health institutions. Weir received a sentence of 25 years to life, and Geyser was sentenced to 40 years to life. And Nisa Wheeler was released in 2021 to live with her father. Morgan Geyser is scheduled to be released in 2025 to live in a group home and will be under supervision until 2058. And that's the story of the Slender Man killing. It happened on May 31st, 2014. The victim was Peyton Lutner, and she died by stabbing. Oh my goodness. She had stab wounds to the artery of the heart, diaphragm, liver, and stomach.
Ooh.
So these two 12-year-old girls stabbed their friend to death to give her as an offering to Slenderman, and that really freaking happened.
Yeah.
You want to talk about creepy pastas? Those girls took creepy pasta to an entire new level.
Right.
Like, I feel like nothing good comes from that. Like, that's how you accidentally summon a demon. Like, that's straight up demonic. Like, that's crazy. And then they got put into a mental institution,
Mhm.
and they weren't, and one of the girls got 25, the other girl got 40 years, and then whenever they get out, they have to be supervised until 2058.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm.
That's pretty intense. People need to people need to watch what their kids are doing.
Yeah.
How did the parents not know that those two girls had like a horrible infatuation with Slenderman?
Hard to
Either
say.
they
I
were really
mean,
good at hiding it, either they were really good at hiding it, or their parents paid absolutely no attention to them.
mhm.
I don't know. I feel like there would be signs. You know what I mean? Like there would be signs. If your two daughters were crazy, there would be signs. Or your daughter and her friend were crazy. I feel like there would be signs. Like, did the girl that initialized the stabbing, did she kill cats when she was younger? Like these are things we should probably like look at. But I don't know, that's absolutely insane. So are there any other like real world stories that intertwine with creepypasta moments?
Hmm.
'Cause that's the only one I've ever actually heard of.
I can look it up real quick.
Well, what are some of the ones that you know that you can explain really, really well? Because I want to hear from you your favorites.
Oh, okay. So I thought that was really cool. They did one for Sonic the Hedgehog.
Like Sonic the Hedgehog?
Yep, he's called Sonic EXE.
And what does Sonic EXE do?
Well, let's see here.
You
They
don't
made a
remember?
game for him, and the goal is to run from a demon version of Sonic.
A demon version of Sonic. So who are you
Yep,
playing as in the game?
you can
Are you
play as
just
the other
playing
characters.
as I gotcha. And it's a real game, like it actually came out?
Oh yeah.
I've never heard of that game.
So basically, this is what the game happens. Okay, so the creepy pasta claims that a person discovered a mysterious Sonic the Hedgehog game cartridge with the label Sonic EXE. As they played the
Adam
game,
Neff, Adam Neff just said, "Crew, remember you can't."
I can't.
I
Oh
don't know what he
God.
means by that.
Oh yeah. It's an old saying that we have. Teach heart, and then he'll say do or die, and I'll trying or something. It's an old saying that me and him have. It's um good memories, Adam. Good memories, brother. All right. This is basically what you experience when you play the game. Glitches and distorted graphics, Sonic's eyes turning red and his behavior becoming menacing. The game's music and sound effects become eerie and unsettling. The player's character being forced to commit violent acts. The game came out in 2012. A fan-made game based on the creepypasta was created, allowing players to experience the haunted Sonic game for themselves. The
Did
game
you ever
feat
play that game?
No, I haven't, but I've
Did
always
you ever
wanted
play the
to.
game?
Mm-mm. I've always wanted to. I've seen the game on YouTube or whatever. It's pretty cool. Let's see. The
Oh, so they
game,
got playthroughs of it on YouTube?
yeah. Um, yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I saw that. Sorry, your mom just posted that Morgan Geyser is set to be released from a psychiatric hospital. That
Hmm.
yeah, we saw that. We actually just read that that the two girls both ended up in psychiatric facilities. The
Yep.
Slenderman case is crazy. So with this Sonic thing, did they do it to is it specifically done to freak children out, or was it done for like a different reason? Did somebody just want to make Sonic creepy? Like, what was
Yeah,
it initially made? They just wanted to make a creepy version of Sonic.
pretty much. It's basically a fan made game based on the creepypasta was created, allowing players to experience the haunted Sonic game for themselves. The game features a mix of psychological horror and jump scares and has become a cult classic among horror game enthusiasts. Impact and legacy. Sonic EXE has become a beloved creepypasta inspiring countless adaptations, fan art, and cosplay. It has also been referenced in various forms of media, including music and video games. The creepypasta's success can be attributed to its unique blend of nostalgia and horror, as well as its ability to tap into fears of gamers and fans of the Sonic franchise.
That's so crazy that they made Sonic into a creepy pasta.
Mhm.
So what are some of your other favorite ones?
Um, Tiki Toby. Don't okay.
What the heck did you just say?
Tiki Toby. Hold on. This one gets. This one's pretty cool. So Tiki Toby was originated on the internet forum 4chan. He is often depicted as a serial killer who targets and tortures children. The character's
Oh my
backstory,
goodness.
yeah, the character's backstory and appearance was vary depending on the source, but some common characteristics include uh, is often depicted as a tall, imposing figure with a inhuman appearance. He may have a distorted face, long limbs, and a menacing grin. His personality is typically portrayed as a sadistic, violent individual who takes great pleasure in the suffering of others. He is often depicted as being highly intelligent and calculating, using his intelligence,
Yes. Smart for his own good.
yeah, to lure and trap his victims. Tiki Toby's methods vary depending on the story, but he is often depicted as using manipulation and deception to lure his victims into a trap. He may use toys, games, or other childish things to gain their trust before revealing his true nature. His story is
Yeah.
pretty interesting. I can't really tell you the story because it's been so long since I've listened to it, but each story, like they have one kind of like based off Link, right?
Like Legend of Zelda Link?
Yeah, called Ben Drowned. And Ben Drowned, he uh, he dresses like Link, and he comes back as like kind of like a demon like person, but his story is so intense. Like each story of each character of the creepy pastas, their stories are so sad to make you fall in love with the character. Like I
Right.
love learning about Jane the Killer because of what Jeff the Killer did to her, right?
Right. And these are all fan made, right? So
Oh
these are
yeah.
all done by like people who have like heard the stories and then make their own stories and
Mhm,
push that into that genre of like
mhm.
creepy pasta.
Yep.
That's cool.
So it gets like each story has their own adaptation of furthering on the story to make it interesting. So there's so many different versions of each story, or they'll further the story to go longer to make it more like a book. So
Right.
creepypasta, yeah, it's been around for a very long time. I don't remember the exact date when creepypasta came around, but when I got introduced to it in 2015, I just wanted to keep learning more and more and more because I love genre, right? Horror genre is so amazing and so interesting that it gets you like pumped to know what's going to happen for the character. What are their intentions? What are they planning? Uh, it makes you feel for the character because of what they went through and why they're doing it.
Your mom just said that you loved watching scary movies, but you would get freaked out if anything was coming out of the TV or eyes were just appearing.
That is
Is that
true.
relevant?
Yeah, that's true. She's not wrong. That is very true.
Yeah, so I think the very first time that I ever like saw something really scary was I did this really stupid thing where my parents like they went somewhere. I don't remember where they went. They went somewhere for the afternoon and I found horror films that I probably wasn't supposed to find. And I watched a nightmare on a nightmare on Elm Street all by myself in the basement and scared the crap out of myself and could not sleep properly for oh my god, probably months. Months as a child. That movie messed me up. And then Stephen King's that clown, man. I can't do it. Your mom said The Ring. Did The Ring freak you out really bad? That's funny.
Yeah. I refuse to watch The Ring or there's a movie kind of like The Ring, but it's not called The Ring. It's I can't remember what it's called, but it also freaked me out. But those were the two most scary films that I refuse to watch to this day because how scary they were.
Did you ever watch Annabelle?
Hmm.
Like the new ones?
Yeah.
Oh
Uh,
my goodness. Those films are so good. They scare the crap out of me. Like genuinely, those films are scary. Like if any of that has any like actual if any of it has any like if any of it is actually real to the Warren stories in any way at all, that is absolutely the most horrifying thing that could ever happen. And like I know that the doll isn't the same. Like I know that that doll was a Raggedy Ann doll. And in the movie Annabelle, it was just some random girl doll that looked creepy. But in real life, Annabelle's a Raggedy Ann doll. And they have her like locked up in a little closet thing and you're not allowed to touch it. You're not allowed to like you can look at it, but you can't touch it. You cannot touch it and they tell you not to take like photos of it. It's kind of similar like Robert the Doll a little bit. Like you can't take photos without asking permission or whatever, but Annabelle like you can't take photos of her at all. Like it doesn't matter if you ask for permission. Like you might die if you take a photo of Annabelle. But they have her locked up so that she can't, like, cause harm to anybody. That's, like, so creepy to me. And apparently that was real, supposedly.
oh,
Your mom said
creepypasta.
the doll's
Yeah.
worse now than the Raggedy Ann doll.
Hmm. The creepypastas originated in 2007.
What was the first creepy pasta ever?
First creepypasta ever. Okay.
That would be interesting to know.
Oh, okay. The first creepypasta is a matter of debate among fans and scholars. as the concept of sharing scary stories online evolved over time. However, one of the most commonly cited candidates for the first creepypasta is Candle Cove in 2009.
Candle Cove is such a creepy thing. Candle Cove, have you seen the videos?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so on YouTube, now if anybody wants to freak themselves out, even just a little bit, on YouTube there's a show, a TV show that, or it's not real. It's like obviously it's made by somebody. It's not a real TV show. But people claim that it was real, and it's like puppets kind of, or I think it was puppets, I don't remember, but it was really weird stuff. Like I think like murder takes place in the show and like all this other stuff, and it's like obviously like marketed towards children, even if the show wasn't like an actual show or like real at all. It was the way they set it up was it was distinctively for kids, and I, like, watched that, and it creeped me out so bad. Like, so if anybody ever wants a good scare, go to YouTube and try to find the original Candle Cove videos. Your
I
mom
just found
said that Robert the doll is your mom said that Robert the doll is scary. She's seen him hundreds of letters asking for forgiveness from taking the photos without permission. And yes, I've also heard that. That is absolutely insane.
I have found some Pokemon creepypasta.
Oh, sweet. So like Pokemon that so stories that involve Pokemon that were turned into creepypastas.
Well, here's the one that we all know from our childhood, from the red and blue video game, and green.
Is it
Uh, the Lavender Town creepypasta is a
is it
popular
Gengar?
no is a popular urban
Oh,
legend that originated from Pokemon franchise, specifically from the 1996 game Pokemon Red and Green, later released outside of Japan as Pokemon Red and Blue. The legend, the creepypasta revolves around Lavender Town, a location in the Pokemon world where players can encounter ghost-type Pokemon according to the legend. The music played in Lavender Town has a haunting, eerie quality that can cause listeners to experience a range of negative emotions from anxiety to suicidal thoughts. The claims. Some claims associated with the Lavender Town creepypasta include the Lavender Town syndrome. Listeners who hear the music from an extended period may experience symptoms such as headaches, nausea, and even suicidal thoughts. The curse. Some believe that the music is cursed, and those who listen to it will be haunted by ghostly apparitions or experience supernatural occurrences. The connection to real life events. Some theories suggest that the music may be connected to real life events such as the deaths of several children in Japan who allegedly played the game extensively before their deaths. The truth. Despite the eerie nature of the music, there is no concrete evidence to support the claims made in the Lavender Town creepypasta. The music was composed by Junichi Masuda, who intended to create a haunting atmosphere soundtrack to fit the game's ghost-themed location. The Lavender Town creepypasta has become a fascinating example of how urban legends can spread and evolve through online communities, often blurring the lines between fact and fiction. So creepypasta is not just a fan-made like story, it's also urban legends as well.
so what urban legends would be considered creepypastas?
Hmm. The Rake being one.
Explain explain what the rake is.
Well,
Can you do it off the top?
we top of my head. Ooh,
Yeah, what's the rake?
the rake. Oh, it's kind of like Skinwalker, I'd say.
Can
I
it
can't.
shapeshift?
Good question. I don't know about that. I know it has long arms, stands stands like kind of like a dog, and has like glowing eyes. Whenever you like shine bright lights at it, but and it has like no hair whatsoever. It's like just
It's completely hairless.
yeah, completely hairless. It's very skinny, long arms, long legs, very very menacing, and it's been known to attack on sight or run
What?
if it yeah.
Your mom just put in the chat that Cabbage Patch, like the Cabbage Patch dolls,
Hmm.
snack time kids dolls would eat their owner's hair.
Yep.
I've never heard that before. What? Would eat their owner's hair? How does a Cabbage Patch doll eat their owner's hair? Like it came alive and it ate hair? Like what?
Right. Uh, okay, so another thing about the rake, it also is pale, almost translucent skin tone. Its face is often described as being gaunt and skeletal, with sunken eyes and a missing grin. The behavior, which here's one thing I did not know, which I had to look up real quick on the behavior.
Yeah.
Is said to be a mysterious, malevolent entity that stalks and terrorizes its
It,
victims. It
it's
is
evil.
yeah, it is often associated with feelings of dread, anxiety, and fear. Origins: the Rex origins are unclear, but it is often linked to the ancient mythology and folklore. Some stories suggest that it is a supernatural entity that has existed for centuries, feeding on human fear and terror.
So
Um,
they feed off of humans that are afraid or scared. So that's like don't banshees kind of do the same thing? Like
oh yeah,
they like yell and scream to attract humans so that they can feed off of them. Like I could be wrong, but I'm I've heard some weird things. And I feel like a lot of those creatures, like a lot of those supposedly creepy pastas, like some of those probably come from real legends. Or like real urban legends and like actual maybe even tribal legends.
Julie said in the chat there was an Elmo doll that told a kid to kill itself even after the batteries were taken out.
Dude, those Tickle Me Elmos, do you remember them? Do you
Hmm.
remember those Tickle Me Elmos? Bro, there were so many of them that were inappropriate. Like so many of them said like crazy things. There were a couple of them were like borderline like predatory towards children, like those Elmo dolls. My God. They said all kinds of crazy things, man. There's YouTube videos of them. And then like and one can only say that like that was intentional by somebody. Somebody intentionally did that. Because you have to record that stuff. Like regardless if you have a program that just makes Elmo say whatever, you have to record that stuff. That's so creepy. Shaitan, you had a Barney that sang with no batteries,
Hmm.
according to your mother.
Yep.
Oh, that's creepy. Tell me that story. I want to hear that story.
I was so little,
What's the
bro.
story
I can
about
barely
Barney?
remember. That's a story for my mom to tell. I was so little, I barely remember.
Did you
Um,
crap yourself? Do you remember
I don't
crapping
remember.
yourself, bro?
I
I
don't
would have
remember.
crapped myself. I would have been so scared of that freaking Barney toy. I would have never touched another Barney toy in my entire life or ever watched Barney ever again. I'd be like, Barney's a gosh darn demon. I can't do this.
So,
That stuff's so freaky. Bro.
how much do
If
you
it
like
doesn't
the?
have the batteries, sorry, I was just gonna say, if it doesn't have the batteries inside of it, it shouldn't move or do anything.
Well, I remember my mom telling me that when I was little that I had a like fire truck toy that would make sounds on its own.
Yeah,
But I don't remember exactly
I
everything
had,
she told me.
I had a toy when I was little. It was. Do you remember those like balls that had like fish inside of them and they had water in them and you could shake it and the fish would move around and it was like a bouncy ball?
Hmm.
So I had a really big one of those, right? And it
Right.
lit up. Like if you hit it hard enough, the ball would like glow colors and it had a fish inside of it. Well, sometimes like I'd wake up in the middle of the night to the ball glowing and rolling around my room by itself. I swear to God. And I told my parents about it and my dad thought I was like having crazy dreams all the time. But literally, this thing plagued me for a while. Like, I would wake up at random times and I couldn't even move. Like, it turned into like kind of like sleep paralysis almost, where you can't move, you can't do anything because you're so scared. That's what that Barney doll would have done to me too. Singing with no batteries in it, bro. I'd be like, just, oh my God. I wouldn't be
Julie
able to do it.
also said she had a gizmo toy as a young adult that started saying some weird things. Her ex husband threw it outside.
What was it? It was like a
A
Gremlins
gizmo.
gizmo.
Yep.
So was it from Gremlins?
Hmm.
Dude, I love Gremlins. Gremlins is the shit. If I had a talking gizmo and it just started saying random things, I would be absolutely terrified. I don't know what I would do with it, but I don't think I could get rid of it. I think I would have to tell everybody about it. I'd have to be like, "You gotta come over and see my gizmo." And you'd be like, "What the hell is that? Like, what are you talking about?" And I'd be like, "No, dude, you gotta come over and see my talking gremlin doll. It's not even supposed to talk, bro. It's learned how to talk. Don't pour water on it."
Okay, so you like the SCP Foundation, right?
Oh God, Furby. Your mom said Furbies. Ugh, Furby.
Mm.
I don't like Furbies.
I don't either.
Have you
But
seen the video have you seen the video of the guy that made an entire organ out of Furbies? Like an organ as in like the instrument, like the piano organ.
mm-mm.
It is absolutely absurd. I'm sure you can look that up online. It's nightmare fuel because it's the talking Furbies and he hooked them all up to like a pipe organ and the Furbies make noise. Instead of the pipes making noise, it's Furbies making noise. It
Right.
is so disturbing. Right. But anyways, you were gonna say something about SCP Foundation. Yeah, I've
Hmm.
heard of that. I don't know what it is, but I've heard of it.
Okay. SCP-173 is one of the most iconic and well-known entities from the SCP Foundation, a popular creepypasta project. What is the SCP-173? It is a sentient humanoid figure made of concrete and rebar.
It's made out of concrete and rebarb, or
With it,
rebar, like the
yeah,
metal.
mhm, with a twisted appearance. It is approximately 2.3 meters tall and weighs around 400 kilograms. Properties and behavior. Immobilization. SCP-173 is capable of moving at incredible speeds, but only when it is not being directly observed. If someone looks away or blinks, SCP-173 can move instantaneously. Aggression. SCP-173 is highly aggressive and will attack anyone who enters its enclosure or looks away from it. Superhuman strengths. SCP-173 possesses incredible physical strength capable of breaking through steel and concrete. Containment and history. SCP-173 is currently contained in a specialized enclosure at Site-17, a
Oh, this
maximum
black
uh,
site
maximum
maximum.
security, yeah, SCP facility that the entity was discovered in, and its origins are unclear. Significance and
If
cultural
that thing,
impact.
well,
What?
wait, if that thing was real and not like made up by somebody, like
Mhm,
imagine where that black site would be, where they would hide something like that, where they would keep that away from the public. Like just think about that for a second. How crazy would that be if somewhere in the world right now there's like a basement underground in the middle of like the Amazon rainforest somewhere, it's just dug out, but there's an entire government facility that's holding outrageous creatures and nobody knows about it, but those are all the creatures of like nightmares and terrors.
mhm.
It's like that movie, A Cat, The Cabin in the Woods. Do you remember
Oh
that
yeah,
movie?
that's a great movie. Yeah.
Where they all like had those creatures and they all betted, or the government or the shadow government or whoever they were betting on who was gonna die by what.
Mhm.
Absolutely insane. But that's what that reminds me of.
It also kind of reminds me of 13 Ghosts.
How?
Think about it. So, kind of like Cabin in the Woods, for example, right? You have 13 ghosts trapped in a house, and they're all locked in an enclosure, right? When they get set
Right.
free, they do some horrible things. So,
Right.
but
All these entities are always doing horrible things.
oh yeah,
It's like they're evil or something. You know, the the ones that are the scariest are the ones that like appear in the dead of night, that just come out of nowhere, that nobody can see, you don't know it's there. You don't know until it is there, right in front of you. And then another weird one that everybody always talks about, because I have like false memories of certain places, is the back rooms.
hmm.
Like do you know about the back rooms?
No,
Okay, so basically what the back rooms is like you're in normal reality right now, right?
right.
So say somehow you step into an alternate reality, and in that alternate reality you're in like rooms that are, they seem to go on forever. They have doors everywhere, weird like bricked out walls and stuff. They look very familiar. Sometimes they have like water inside of them. They're like swimming pools. They can be all different kinds of things, but they're very familiar places. Like a lot of them remind me of high school hallways, the back rooms. Hotels too. The back rooms remind me of like hotel, like in endless hotel lobbies. Like you're just walking down an endless hotel lobby. And there's no elevator, there's no way out. You're just walking down this gigantic hallway. Back rooms is some scary stuff.
Ooh, I got a list of a bunch of different creepy pastas. All right, so we got the classic creepypastas, top 10. We got Candle Clove, The Slender Man, Jeff the Killer, Tiki Toby, The Rake, SCP-173, The No End House, The Russian Sleep Experiment, The Smiling Man, and The Dione House. Those are some classic ones. Here's some video game inspired creepypastas. The Lavender Town Syndrome, Pokemon, Hero Brian, Minecraft, the Majora's Mask cartridge from The Legend of Zelda, the Polybius Urban Legend, Polybius arcade game, Internet Urban Legends, the Cochise. I'm not even going to say that word. It's from the Silt Mouth and Woman, The Curse of the Bunny Man, the
What you
Vanishing.
just freaking said, man.
What?
What the hell did you just say? What did you just say?
The Curse of the Bunny Man.
No, before that, when you were like, I'm not even gonna attempt to
The
say that.
it starts with the K. It's Kuch Isaki, I guess is how you say Ona. I guess I don't know. It's
Oh, it's Asian,
yeah,
probably Japanese name. I don't know.
yeah.
It's a
I'm
hard
not
name to
gonna.
pronounce.
Yeah, I'm not gonna try and pronounce it. Then we got the Vanishing Hitchhiker. We got the Hook Man, paranormal and supernatural creepypastas, the Shadow People, the Hat Man, the Black Eyed Children, the Mothman, psychological horror creepypastas, the Ritual, aka the Walpurgis
Dude,
Night, the Holders.
I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something that is gonna be extremely hard to believe. And this is why I don't consider the Black Eyed Children like a creepy pasta. I think it's a real freaking thing. And I was also pretty young at this time. I was probably like 13 or 14. My parents also left me at home alone. And it was only for like one night. It wasn't going to be for like a week or nothing like that crazy. It was just they drove to Iowa or something and they had to let me stay home for a night. And I was like, okay, I'll stay here. And at like midnight or like probably like 12:30, somebody was like ringing our doorbell over and over and over again. And I thought, maybe it's my dad for some odd reason and he can't get inside the house. So I went downstairs and I opened up the door and there were two kids there just standing there and they didn't have eyes. Like no eyes. It could have been a dream that I dreamt. I mean, I don't know. It feels like a core memory. So I don't know. I have weird things like that. Like it may have been a dream that was so crazy it traumatized me, or it actually happened. Either way, it's scary. And the black eyed children are kind of a freaky subject because they always come to your door and like all the stories I ever hear about them, they're always trying to get you to let them inside, which is what happened with me. When I opened up the door, they asked if they could use the phone. And I was like, no, my parents aren't home. And I shut the door. And they rang the doorbell a couple more times and then they left. That happened. That was really freaky.
So when you say they left, did you watch them leave? Like, did they walk away, or did they like
I got
vanish?
scared. I got freaked out. So I like went into my living room at the time that was like
Mm-hmm.
across from where the door was and I hid behind the couch because I was scared. I didn't know what was going on. It freaked me out because they didn't look like they had any eyes. It
Right,
freaked me out. And I just remember the doorbell stopped ringing at some point, and I just sat there for a minute. It could have been 30 minutes, it could have been 5 minutes. I don't remember. I was pretty little.
right.
But either way, it scared me so bad. And when I got up, and I checked the door again, they weren't there anymore. I didn't see them leave. I didn't watch them leave. I didn't see them vanish. I just know when I got up, they weren't there.
Hmm.
It's creepy though. That's like one of the one weird experiences I have besides seeing actual UFOs. So, and the kids, man, are always weird. Whenever you have something that involves children, like kid ghosts, they scare the crap out of me.
Ain't that the truth?
Like, what about the little girl at the school that you had to deal with?
Okay, so I don't know if she was a demon. I don't know if she was the little girl that got murdered by that school. But all I know is that
That's all alleged, by the way.
right, all alleged. All I know is that this ghost-like girl was likes to play tricks, right, at that abandoned school, and I did not I did not like some of the tricks she pulled. Some of them were funny. Some of them were pretty irritating. Like for instance, I would put down a camera, right, or a flashlight in the gym, and then I would go to another part of the school, go back, when I'm about to leave to go pick up my stuff. Not there. They would be in another room.
That's
So,
that's really unsettling.
hmm
That's definitely unsettling.
yeah. But yeah, like ghosts like to tend to play tricks on people sometimes. And the fact
I
that
feel
you
like
experience
ghosts. What were you gonna say?
in fact that the fact that you experienced black-eyed children at a very young age is also very unsettling too.
Yeah, it was weird. It was weird. I didn't know how to think about it at that time. I was just scared. I didn't know what to do. Being a kid and having that happen, and it's really late at night. And the only reason I went to the door was I thought it's probably dad. That's what I thought. I was like, it's got to be dad. He can't get inside the house. And I remember my parents asked my neighbors, and my neighbors were like, we didn't see anything or whatever. And then my dad was like, well, have any of you experienced your doorbells being rang a whole bunch? And like everybody thought I was crazy. And then it didn't help that like after that, like a couple years after, I saw UFOs and got on the news for it. And my family thought I was even crazier. And now I feel like I'm being actually pretty vindicated because UFOs are being talked about all the time now. So I'm not crazy anymore.
We got some whistleblowers being coming out on freaking news about freaking UFOs and shit. Man,
Although that video that they just released of the egg thing, you can't tell me that's real. That looks like the most stupid thing I've ever seen in my life. Like I'm like, what is this? It doesn't look like a UFO. It doesn't look like anything. It looks like somebody's pushing an egg on a blanket. And I'm like, what is this? Like if and then I've seen other people that are like, if this is real footage, this is the most amazing footage that has ever been released. And I'm like, in what way? What does the footage show? I'm still confused. Stephen Greer came out talking about it, and that's the only reason I know about the egg or whatever. I don't know. It's not an actual egg, I don't think. I think it's like a object, but it's a weird story.
Oh, so you asked earlier about real stories of real world stories about creepypasta, and I found some.
Yeah.
So we got the Slender Man stabbing in 2014 from the two 12-year old girls. That was the number one on the list. Then number two on the list was the No End House inspiration. A man in California was arrested for breaking into a residence, claiming he was inspired by the creepypasta No End House. The story revolves around a mysterious, ever changing mansion. The Jeff, the Jeff,
Wait,
the
that
killer
was
copycat.
breaking into random people's houses?
hmm
Oh my god.
And that was around
Definitely mentally
2018.
unstable. Definitely mentally unstable. That is what that man is. He is most definitely mentally unstable.
Jeff The Jeff the Killer Copycat 2019. A teenager in Brazil was arrested for murdering a younger boy allegedly inspired by Jeff the Killer. The case drew attention to the potential influence of violent online content on young minds. These are examples
What is up
demonstrate.
with these kids? Yeah,
Right.
what's up with all these kids doing this? Like, I understand that it affects children's minds in different ways,
Mhm.
but I don't think that it should affect them that much. I mean, I watched horror movies when I was little and I never like I got obsessive a little bit, but never like very to an unhealthy point or anything.
Right.
I mean, my own kid, my own child is a little obsessive over horror stuff, and I wouldn't say really has a problem. He gets very obsessive sometimes, and I think we all do as kids over like scary stuff. I
I
think some kids are
remember
just like,
when your kid was so obsessed with Dead by Daylight. So
yeah, I
obsessed.
know. The funny thing is, though, is I know a lot of like younger kids that love Dead by Daylight, and I'm like, oh my god, who's what are we as parents doing that our children are playing Dead by Daylight and Red Dead Redemption now? But then again, I was the 11-year-old back in the day that was playing Grand Theft Auto Vice City without my parents knowing.
I wasn't allowed to play Grand Theft Auto
Neither was
growing
I.
up.
That's why I did it without my parents knowing. That's why I did it without them knowing, because I wasn't allowed to have those games or play those games.
I was allowed to
We all
play
do
the
dumb,
I was
but to
allowed to play the
resort
first
to
one
murder.
and second one, but I wasn't allowed to
Look,
play like
I'm just saying that it's very odd that some kids mentally snap with violent video games or violent TV or violent movies. Most normal children have night terrors and freak out and can't sleep for a couple days. But some kids are just natural born killers, I guess. No pun intended, because that's a horror film. I mean, quite honestly, if you're copying a creepy pasta and you have nothing better to do, and where are your parents? Where are your parents?
fair
What are they
point.
doing? I'd like to know. Like those two 12-year-old girls, where were their parents? How did nobody know that they were planning a murder? How are two 12-year-old girls that smart? I mean, I know it's possible. I just it just blows my mind.
Hard to say in some cases like this because kids can be very, very evil at times and don't want to reveal their secrets.
I was a little crazy when I was younger.
So
I
was
think you
I.
were too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But we didn't go out and kill anybody. Those girls went out and killed their friend and sacrificed them or her to Slenderman. That's the definition of it, psychotic and insane. Hence why they were put into psychiatric facilities.
Right. Like, okay, so there's been many stories of kids going psycho and being inspired by, multiple different stories from different um things. But the fact that these stories are out there and these kids want to, are saying, "Oh, we're doing this for Slender Man because he's influencing us to do it," then maybe they shouldn't be reading those stories.
No, they definitely shouldn't. Would does Krampus, is that considered kind of a creepy pasta? Krampus?
I
Or
wouldn't
is that
consider
more
it.
of like urban legend?
It's more of an urban legend to get kids to behave.
Right. I
I
was just
wouldn't.
wondering if you could class Krampus as a
Yeah,
creepy
no,
pasta.
it's not a creepypasta. It's been around longer than creepypasta. Um, I don't remember where it originated from, but
Germany.
cre- okay. So basically, from how the story goes, it's basically to get kids to behave. Otherwise, if they do not behave, they were told that an evil
If you're a bad
Santa would.
kid, Krampus will come get you.
Yeah.
Krampus will come get you and beat you with a leek or a twig or whatever you want to call it, a switch. That's what people call it. He had a switch and he had a bag, and he would put children in the bag, and he would hit the bag with the switch over and over and over again, hurting the children, disciplining the children, and then quite often kidnapping the kids, and they never get to go back.
Yep.
Krampus is a really dark story. It's a really kind of screwed up way to make your kids like behave, but props to those parents.
Yeah.
I wonder how long it worked till some kid was like, "That's bullshit," and told all of his friends, and all of his friends told all of their younger siblings, and all their younger siblings told all of their friends that Krampus was bullshit. I wonder how long that took. When the when the parents first started spreading that.
Good point on that one.
It's just a funny point of perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also another Pokemon creepypasta that I found a long time ago. When I was
Yeah.
really getting into creepypasta, it's the Nurse Joy creepypasta.
What's that one about?
Um, so okay, so Nurse Joy would invite these random travelers to the Pokemon Center, right? Allow them to stay the night, when it's like really bad weather, like rain or whatever. And
Right.
while the travelers are asleep, she would bring out her fangs and bite them to turn them into a Nurse Joy.
What?
Right.
So like Nurse Joy is like they're vampiric, and that's
Hmm.
how you get turned into a Nurse Joy is you get bit by another Nurse Joy.
Hmm.
So what about the police officers, the Officer Jennies? Because aren't they like cousins of the Nurse Joys? And there's like also multiple nurse or multiple Officer Jennies.
Right. I didn't see anything on Officer Jenny creepypasta wise, but that the only one I could find was like on Lavender Town and Nurse Joy. I also remember there was this one
I remember
creepypasta where
I
this.
I remember it might not be a creepy pasta, but I remember a Pokemon related like scary thing, and
Mhm.
that was that Gengar, Haunter, and Ghastly were dead children, the spirits of dead children, and that's why they're so playful and like um fun to be around and funny. But I don't know how like true that is. I've just heard that.
Well, did you know that Gengar is actually the ghost version of Clefable?
Yeah, I well supposedly yes. That because if you put them side by side, they look pretty similar. And Pokemon famously in like the Nintendo openings for the Game Boy games had Gengar versus Clefable, right? It was either Clefable or Clefairy, but it was Gengar versus that one. Because I remember those openings to those games. Those were wonderful games. I loved playing the Pokemon games. They were probably my favorite video games when I was a kid. I loved bringing out the Game Boy and playing the Game Boy for hours. I remember getting my first Game Boy. It was the coolest experience in the entire world. It was that pink Game Boy. I got a pink Game Boy with a pink Game Boy case. And I remember I got Pokemon Yellow and Pokemon Red. And then my third game ever was Super Mario Brothers. The one where you like jump on the castle and like you have to grab the flag and like old school Mario. I remember playing all those games. It was so much fun. Um Back to the creepy pasta stuff though. We kind of got a little bit off track, but the creepy pastas, man. I think there are some things that are probably a little true behind these, maybe. I know quite a few of them are made up completely, completely made up. But there's always a chance that one or two of them is like real.
Mhm. Yeah, you have a very point there. I mean, I can't depict which ones were based on real stories and which ones are fiction. I mean, I can pinpoint a lot of them that are fiction, but it's hard to say with some of the stories. Some of them are based off true stories, and they wanted to make their own adaptation of it as a creepypasta.
Could you
I know.
could you could you imagine if Slenderman was real?
I don't want to imagine Slenderman is real. Trust me, I've done so much research on Slenderman. It's not funny.
Big tall guy in the woods with a suit with no face. Just a
Tent
blank face. Completely
with
white usually.
tentacle like uh octopus like tentacle things coming out of him from his back.
I didn't know Slenderman had octopus tentacles.
Hmm. Have you seen
I
the
think now
Slender Man movie?
no, I haven't seen that. I didn't know there was a movie.
Yep, it came out a few years ago, and it's very creepy.
Well, now I'm gonna
Um,
have to go download a movie.
they also
That's
have
probably is that a B-rated film?
no. They also have the Bye Bye
No.
Man, which is basically based off the Slender Man. There's so many movies based off the Slender Man, it's not even funny.
Was Bye Bye Man, was that a part of the Annabelle stuff?
No.
There was some kind of the Smiley Man. There was some kind of weird thing that was also in a couple of those films. The Laughing Man, maybe? I don't know. I could be making that up.
I'll
To
have
be
to look
fair.
that up. I'll have to look that up later on and try to figure it out.
Excuse me.
But like I was saying a little while ago, before we got on the Pokemon topic, there's this one creepypasta story that I remember when I really got into creepypasta about this uh, single dad, right?
Right.
Took his like little girl, his daughter, it was just him and her, to like this market or whatever. She found this teddy bear and
Gotcha.
he bought it for her. Well, he was starting to get very uneasy about this teddy bear. One night, this little girl was playing with the teddy bear, and as he's going to see what's going on when his daughter's supposed to be asleep, because it was past her bedtime, he watches the teddy bear eat his daughter.
What?
Yeah,
The teddy bear ate his daughter?
yep. So
Holy
he
shit.
so he couldn't do anything about it, like stop the teddy bear or whatever. Like he was so scared he couldn't move. But when he came to, he ran into the closet that he could get into, shut the door, locked the closet, and the teddy bear was trying to get to him.
Jesus.
Right.
I bet that man was pooping himself the entire time that was happening.
Hmm.
Oh, it'd be uncontrollable diarrhea. Dude, a teddy bear eating somebody? That's crazy.
Which
Well, man, what are you about to say?
this was has been a great episode so far.
This has been a really good episode. I was just gonna say we should actually probably wrap it up for tonight. We got a big show coming up tomorrow.
Like, yeah, we do.
Yeah, so tonight, we've talked a lot about creepypastas and kind of their origins and where they come from, the fan fiction behind them, what they represent, actual stories of people who sacrificed others to these fictional creepypasta characters, such as Slenderman, an actual case. That's crazy. Then we heard about random Pokemon related theories, and we talked about just about anything that you could relate to with these creepy pastas. So I thoroughly enjoyed tonight's episode.
So bye.
Thank you for enticing us with your knowledge, crew, on this subject.
You're welcome.
I don't know very much about the creepy pastas on the internet, man. I just know a couple of the mainstream ones.
Well,
But
if you
once
ever
again,
want
guys, this
to, before you finish, if you ever want to go to YouTube and they have a bunch of different creepypasta stories that if you would want to check them out. They're really good stories.
Which, by the way, guys, we are on Facebook and now we're on YouTube. We have a page on YouTube called the Robert and Crew Show. So we will leave a link at the Facebook. If y'all want to join us on YouTube, that's fine. But now you can now I believe with YouTube you can download episodes, I think, and you can even like stream them. So uh yeah, we're gonna be on YouTube, we're gonna be on Facebook, hopefully soon here. We'll have an X that is working. And yeah, I think we're doing pretty good. So anyways, guys, tonight was a good show. I had a great time. Love talking to you as always, crew, and learning about something new every time. I think I'm gonna say goodnight. Peace out, guys. Much love from me to you and from crew. Good night.